Okay, Christian here. EMF sensitivity for travel, part 2. I just made part 1 and I forgot 2 important things. So I wanted to go over 2 additional things that I think would be helpful for you when you travel. Okay, number 1, the Mercola tent. This is a fairly popular thing. It's just a tent you can travel with. I lugged this all over India for a couple months. And I wanted to go over some of the pros and cons. One of the cons is, one of the pros is it blocks everything. One of the cons is this is a very conductive material. So you can just open up this tent, the springs open, and you're all set to go. You can ground it. My experience is even if you ground this tent, you can get into trouble with the electrical energies. Sometimes you can block all the microwaves, and the electrical energies are very insidious. It may take a day or 2 or 3 to really, it can really put you in a bind. It can really put you in a bad place. So one drawback from this is that even when you ground it, it's quite conductive. So it's not like you can just go into a hotel room, plug in into the ground with the wire, clip it into the tent, and think you're really good. Not going to happen. When I showed you this Swiss Shield Naturel, it's not conductive. It's these silver fibers that are woven with cotton, not very conductive at all. Same with the Swiss Shield Daylight. That's one of the beauties of these is you don't have to ground them in the hotel room, since that's often impossible. In a third world country, the grounds are not going to be grounded, etc. So anyway, where this really shines is outside, away from people. Say you're next to a cell tower, or you're in a neighborhood with high Wi-Fi, even in the driveway area. If you have a camper van, or even if you just have a tent, if you have a regular tent, you can set up this tent inside the tent. And if it's away from electrical energy, you can still ground it if you want. Then the whole thing is grounded. You're grounded for your sleep. And it's great. I mean, you could be in an area where it's 10,000 microwatts from near a cell tower and your powerful neighbor Wi-Fi, blah, blah, blah. You're gonna sleep like a baby. It's great. Okay, so this is where it really shines, is outside. Sometimes I had a camper van for many years with a mattress in it. I would just pop this open. It really is quite low. It's just kind of like about this. I'm not going to open it here, but it just like springs open. It comes from a design that's very cheap. You can find this design as a mosquito net for probably $10, $15 in third world countries. They're everywhere. And it's a very nice design for sleeping outside and getting protection from the mosquitoes. And all they did was put protective EMF material instead of the mosquito net. So they just used the same design. It just rolls up into some nice circles, and you're done. So that's all I want to say about the Mercola tent. I lugged it around India for a few months, barely ever used it because I didn't feel very good in the hotel rooms. I had a meter. People like the electrical meter called the tri-field meter. Everybody raves about that. The microwave part of that meter is absolute rubbish. Okay, so that made me not trust the other part, but people kept saying it, so I bought it. And the electrical and magnetic fields that it measures, it's only okay. Like I use it in cars sometimes that it's 0, and I feel like just terrible after driving in a car with the electrical energy. So it's not really sensitive enough, this tri-field meter, so I wouldn't buy one. And that's all I want to say about the Mercola tent. The second thing I want to say in this video is cars, okay? That's getting increasingly difficult. Ever since about 2014-15, everything's kind of integrated into the one computer. The first and foremost thing about if you're going to buy a car is you have to be able to turn off the Bluetooth, okay? Sometimes it works if the Bluetooth simply is not registering a connected device. That also works. But even better, and in most new cars you can do this, you actually can turn off the Bluetooth completely. You just use your meter, You got to test drive it into an area where there's not too much EMF activity, and even when cars are driving by, they're going to have lots, so it'll spike the meter. So you can't have that. You got to go to a place where there's really not that much EMFs. It's better if you're alone too. I was test driving with this woman the other day. I'm in the car shopping now, and every car I tried had high EMFs. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm turning off the Bluetooth. What's going on? She had AirPods in her ears, and they were totally radiating a few hundred microwatts, so totally screwing it. So I had to retest drive all the cars anyway. So anyway, with cars, the less sensors, the better. I was in the market for a minivan, but the thing is they gussy up these minivans so badly with all this heated seats and sensors and blah, blah, blah. It just doesn't feel good to be in after a little while. You can tolerate it. The electrical energy, I would say, in cars would be in many ways a secondary concern for most people. It is for me. Then the microwaves, you have to be able to turn off the Bluetooth. I was just picked up in a new Chevy. You can't turn off the 5G in a Chevy, so it's 60,000 blasting you. Anywhere you go, you can't turn it off. So the new car companies, some are better than others. I was driving a Hyundai Elantra 2024 that I rented. You know, it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I drove it 5 hours on the highway. You can turn off the Bluetooth completely, no Wi-Fi. It doesn't have an OnStar thing that's always pulsing that you can't turn off, something like that. The electrical is only okay, like if I'm parked in like a nice forest situation and I want to listen to the radio and the car's running, I start to feel it. I feel a little nauseous. It's not so great. But when you're driving, you're just going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to test drive a lot of cars and see how you feel. Enterprise lets you test drive a car after you buy it for a week. It gives you a 1-week return. That might be a good option for some people to be able to return a car. And that's it for cars. I mean, I've heard over and over again, you have to avoid hybrids, you have to avoid all electric. I would not doubt that in the slightest. A tri-field meter is not going to pick up all the electrical energy and the sensors and blah, blah, blah. Even if they have their Wi-Fi and Bluetooth off, there's going to be a lot of, well, probably still microwaves, but there's going to be a lot of electrical energy and it's going to be draining. So some people, if you look online, they like the old Mercedes the diesels between 1980 and 1985. That's for very sensitive people. That would be wonderful. If I'm in the right situation, maybe I'd buy one of those if I was just making short trips. I'm not in that situation right now. I have to do a lot more driving, so there's no way I can buy an old Mercedes and just keep it up with the amount of driving I'm doing these days. It's best to look for a car perhaps around 2015, 2012. However, I would not totally dismiss the new cars. I used that Hyundai Elantra. I rented it for about 2 weeks. It was not so bad. It didn't make me feel great with the sensors and things like that, but surprisingly, it wasn't terrible. So you'll just have to figure that out for yourself depending on how sensitive you are. And I just wanted to throw that out because if you Google EMF sensitivity in automobiles or buying a car, you'll find a lot of conflicting information. So, and not just conflicting, I mean just complicated information that just doesn't really do anything. You're going to have to test drive it yourself, spend some time with the car. Definitely test this after you turn off the Bluetooth, because there could be a lot of sneaky stuff like OnStar systems and stuff that you can't turn off. Some have them, some don't. You're just going to have to do car by car. So anyway, thank you, my friend, for videoing this, and I hope this, to the general audience, I hope this helps.